Today I have another project showcasing my absolute insane addiction to doing things the hard way, and this time I'm punching a hole in my garden wall. Nobody told me I can't do this, and my sense of self-preservation is clearly broken. So in the interest of saving some money and learning a few things, I wanted to figure out how to do this. We needed a better way to access our garden because the workshop you see being built here was about to permanently block access. And the original garden gate was pretty narrow anyways, so a hole in our wall was essentially the best option. Let me run you through how I did all of this as simply and as economically as I could. And because you're on my channel, you will of course see plenty of unconventional solutions being used. So hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get a few chuckles out of watching me struggle.
The section of the wall that I needed to open was already in a very sorry state, so I wasn't really concerned with cutting a hole into it. I recovered the bricks I could, and the rest I simply crushed and used to stabilize the soil under the new paving slabs. This may look unconventional, but it can actually take a huge amount of load. And as this was a multi-day project, I also had to build some temporary shutters to stop the dogs from running away. Next were the foundations for the new gate posts. The bottom of the wall was actually still nice and solid, so I simply decided to expose the bricks and key my concrete into those foundations. I glued rebar into the existing foundation so that the new concrete would be tied really securely to the existing bricks. After all, there's a lot of leverage on those long gate posts, and I didn't want them to be ripped out during the next storm. I used some braces to hold the concrete posts while the concrete was drying so that they wouldn't move around. Additionally, I doubled the posts up on the left side, and I also used resin to glue those two posts together to make it all stronger. My son and I then mixed up some concrete and we poured it all around the posts, securing them in place really strongly. We then let that harden for a few days before we removed the braces. It may not seem like there's a lot of concrete holding those posts, but it's absolutely enough. I know because these posts have been in place for over 3 years now and nothing has moved or cracked. Here's another example of how I do things differently. I wanted to learn whether pine boards would be suitable long term for an exterior gate. Of course, it's not the obvious choice. So for me, the best way to learn something is to simply do it and then figure out what could go wrong. Figure out the negative side effects. Or if I'm lucky, it just works. So I took the same approach with these gates. You can see that these gates are really solid. All the boards were glued with exterior glue, and it was actually quite a challenge to get these gates hung into place later on. I hit rebar in one of the posts when I drilled through it, and that meant that some of the concrete chipped off. I fixed that though by using concrete resin and some more steel bracing for the hinges. And yeah, it's ugly, but it has been working just fine for the last 3 years. So here's another one of my prototypes, gluing 2 paving slabs together with concrete resin to double them up. Completely ridiculous idea, except that it works great. So we now had the area roughed out where I needed to remove the grass and the topsoil and then strengthen the ground so that it could lay paving slabs over the top. And another one of my unconventional approaches. So rather than using the material widely used here in the UK to stabilize that subgrade, I simply crushed all the bricks I didn't need. Again, may seem crazy to do this, but I have successfully built multiple driveways like this in the past, and this particular subgrade can take the weight of really heavy vehicles. I've personally driven a 3-ton dumper truck over this particular area for 2 days straight, and no cracks have developed. And even after 3 winters and summers of thawing and heating, no cracks have developed. Once the subgrade was down and properly compacted, I started laying slabs. And those are all recycled, and most were even free from Facebook Marketplace. Win! I then patched up the wall so that the dogs couldn't escape. Not very pretty, but definitely functional. This whole wall will eventually be replaced by a fence anyways, so I'm really not bothered by how it looks right now. Last task, lay some more slabs next to the workshop so that we could get out of the bloody mud. I really don't like mud. So these slabs drop away from the building so that any water runs away from the structure and basically don't get any flooding during the rains. We're really happy with the finished article. It was cheap and it's held up really well over the last few years. It was never really meant to last more than a few years, so good enough is good enough for now. Hope you enjoyed another one of my funky projects, and I shall hopefully see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.